Good morning, Tevis. You are a life coach and founder of SiveT Empowerment Coaching and Consultant, which empowers educators. What inspired you to become a life coach?
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Well, I guess I'll start from the beginning. I started undergrad as a pre-med major or a biology major, pre-med minor. And after about 3 years, the math and chemistry was kicking my behind. So I decided that I was going to change. I wanted to be a pediatric oncologist. So I knew that I wanted to work with children. So I decided to go into education. So I majored in elementary education and minored in biology. Soon after graduating, my mother opened up her early childcare program was opening up. So I ran that for 6 years for her while she stayed on her job. So it kind of just fit. After I got pregnant with my daughter, I needed to go where I could get benefits. So I went into the school system where I stayed for about 6 years. And while I was there and working in many early childcare programs as well, I was realizing there's tons of trainings, there's tons of things out there for people, but there needed to be more. I felt like educators needed to be educated, supported, and loved on more than what they were getting. So that's what brought me to SiveT Empowerment.
Wow. So your company, SiveT Empowerment Coaching and Consultant, can you tell us more about that venture of yours and the services it offers?
Sure. So I graduated with my second master's in May of 2020 at the peak of COVID. And I was at the time assistant director at an early childcare program. And while we were home for a while, my thought was like, I need to do more with this second master's, which was in leadership development and professional business coaching. What can I do? And I was like, well, I know early childcare. I know educators. I've been in many roles in the education spectrum. So maybe maybe I should do that. So I just started doing a lot of research on businesses and LLCs and coaching and different things. And then I thought, well, I can do this. It's going to require a lot of work. Which is probably why I never wanted to be an entrepreneur, because it takes a different type of hustle, because it's your own. And, while we're out here making money for everybody else, I should, make money for myself. So that's kind of where it came from. And just seeing, my grandfather and my mother, both who are entrepreneurs, and my uncle who followed in my grandfather's footsteps as barbers, and my mom early childcare. And I have a cousin who also opened up an early childcare program. So entrepreneurship runs in the family. Like I said, didn't have a desire to do it, but after that second master's, I was like, maybe I should do something with this. Maybe I should do something with it. So yeah.
Wow, interesting. So what are the services that you offer?
So yes, some of the services that I offer, one of the main things that I initially started out is training early childcare providers. So different services. Typically, if someone reaches out to me and wants a specific training, I'll create it for them specifically. For example, I'll be doing a professionalism training this Saturday, not one that I had in my little box of trainings. And so I created a professionalism training for a team of early childcare providers. I really enjoy coaching more than anything. So my coaching is business professional. And I always tell people that I do not deal with numbers. That is not my thing. I do the organizational development and the leadership development. I absolutely love to work with people just to empower and enhance them even more. Coaching is, to me, you are the expert at your life. I'm just here to be your think partner, your thought partner, to ask you questions maybe you don't ask yourself, or to assist you in thinking out of the box. So the training and the coaching, and I do consultation. So for a lot of, I was a program evaluator for 6 years here in the state of Tennessee, where I help license programs. I help many programs all over the state of Tennessee to open centers, family group programs, adult education programs. also I do a lot of consultation by way of assisting people as they're trying to open up their programs, or while they're in their programs, just to enhance or help make their programs better. And last but not least, I also love speaking with educators from the college level on up or down, just reaching out to those who are interested in the education world, just to give them encouragement and support and advice. So those are the 4 services that I offer.
Wow, you're a busy lady.
I am. This is true.
You know something, while I was researching about you and the name of the company, and then I realized that SiveT is your name backwards. Any reason why you picked that name?
Well, I'm not creative. So I thought, you know what? Oprah Winfrey, her studio is called Harpo Studio, right? So it's Oprah backwards. So I was like, maybe I'll just say my name backwards. Maybe eventually some of her money will rain down over here on me, So I kept it simple. I thought about Oprah and realized what she did. And I was like, SiveT, well, I can roll with that. So that's the story behind the name. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I was wondering. I'm like, I know there's something behind it. You kind of switch it backward. And I'm like, and it's perfectly done backward.
Exactly.
So how does someone get your services? How do they actually, how do the process work?
So I have a website, which is www.SiveTEmpowermentLLC.com. And on my website, you'll see all the services that I offer, a little bit about me. And there's also a section on there where you can schedule time to do a 15-minute consultation with me. You can always reach me by email, which is tevis.haynie@gmail.com. And I'm also on social media. I have an Instagram page, which is SiveT Empowerment Coaching. And my Facebook page as well is the same. And I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter just by my regular name, Tevis Haynie.
So pretty much they can just reach out, and there's some sort of free consultation that you go through with them to figure out what they're really looking for.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I say 15 minutes, if there's questions coming, it could be 30 minutes. I'm kind of open to that kind of stuff because I want people to feel comfortable. That's my thing. I want you to feel comfortable. I don't want anyone to feel rushed or pressured for, to get their thoughts out or to get clarity on what I do or what I can do for them.
Exactly. So do you provide your services only in the state of Tennessee, or is it also anywhere within the United States?
Anywhere within the United States. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So does it have to be, do you work, I know as a life coach, do you do one-on-one, or is it like a group coaching, or is it, how does that work?
Yeah, I can do both. With the life coaching, I've mostly worked one-on-one with people, but I've had a few couples who are looking to get married that I've worked with. And I'm trying to get more into businesses and companies, specifically into colleges and universities. And if there's group coaching that I need to do for them, that would be great. But I'm definitely open for group coaching. And I have done a few in some of the early childcare programs that I work.
So you have your experience as an educator for over 2 decades and helping clients up. So how do you use that experience, your expertise as a professional educator, to continue the growth of people mindset, as a life coach?
Yes. So, with my bachelor's in education, one of my mottos is growth mindset. I continually go through trainings. I continue to listen to podcasts while I'm exercising, read as much as I can to stay in that education mind frame, to be able to support them in the right way. I'm really big on conscious discipline, social emotional learning, gentle parenting. A lot of those things are, and abolition teaching, because the world is so different, right? So I just continually, or it's growing different each generation, but I just try to keep myself educated by reading, listening to things, podcasts, by way of education. My second master's was in human behaviors and services. And so that gives me a different spin on, being able to observe and watch children, watch adults. So a part of my consultation is observing the program, right? So kind of watching and seeing, and, instead of me telling people what to do, I ask a lot of questions, which probably some people are like, just tell me what I'm supposed to do. No. What do you think you're supposed to do? Right. So, so that all of that keeps me in the loop by way of just kind of the academics, the education and learning and growing. And because I have so many years working with little people, I can typically kind of go in and, I hate to say it, but kind of fix the situation if I need to, you know what I'm saying? And wrong. And if I am, that's okay too. But after a while, you can kind of tune in to kind of what the environment needs to look like, or how it should be going, for sure.
Yes, and also that I think that because you're an outsider too, it's easy for you to see the problems. Yes. Because sometimes we can see our own problems when someone from the outside show up. It's like, yep, there's problems here.
Right. And I just want to not make them feel like they can't do it or they're not capable. But like you said, when we've been used to seeing and in the situation, sometimes it becomes a norm for us, right? And we just know that little Johnny is getting ready to be acting crazy here in a minute. It's his time, when initially it doesn't have to be that way, right? We can definitely alter and change and fix and let them know that a quick pivot is all that is needed,
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that. But also there's something that you mentioned at the beginning of the conversation. You said that you had a client that was getting married. Mm-hmm. So how do you provide your services to a couple that's getting married?
So, like I tell people, I am not a therapist. I don't want to be a therapist. My coaching is a partnership, because you're the expert of your life. So, they come just kind of wanting to enhance and make things better in their relationship. So, first, sometimes couples just need people to hear them because they stop listening to each other, right? So I'll let, one of them may say something to me about the other person while they're there. And I'm just going to sit and listen, right? Because I know the other person is eventually going to step in and defend or take up for themselves or respond. So after a while, I'm just listening to them talk. And at some point I'll say, hey, can I tell you what I've heard? And they're like, yeah, because it's like they forget I'm there, right? So they're just conversating like they're at home, and which is good because I'm glad they feel that comfortable with me. So once I share with them what I've heard each of them say, it's like a light goes off. At the end of the day, you're just not listening to each other. Yeah, you absolutely love each other. Yes, you respect each other, but you have to listen. You have to hear. Don't be offended. Don't get offensive because somebody is telling you why what you do or is making them feel some kind of way. Just know that because they love you so much, they just want, you just want the other person to grow and love you in a way that's healthy for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really me sitting and listening and sometimes being that mediator for them, letting them know what I hear on the outside and bringing it to them so they can be like, okay, I see now. And sometimes that's all it takes. So it's just real simple. Like I said, it's nothing therapeutic. I mean, I guess you can say it is, but not so much doing what a therapist does. But I do give them tasks to do at home, little things to work on. They have a free range to, hey, if you need to check in, call me, text me, email me if you need me in between time. But I do give everybody that I work with, I do give them like tasks to do in between time for sure.
And I think that also one of the issue is the fact that sometimes we interpret things the different ways as well. For example, one person might say something that have a different meaning, but the person take it a whole different way, and that's end up being the issue too. And the argument started for no reason that was not even necessary in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true, for sure. For sure.
So how do you deal with things like that when you see it happening?
I'll ask questions. I usually start out with something as simple as, how was your week? And that body language, the face expressions, the deep breaths, all of that comes. So, okay, something might have happened. So, whoever will talk and share their perspective. Then the other person will share their perspective. And when I'm just sitting there, sometimes I don't even have to say nothing. Because when they are quiet and they can hear what the other person is saying, they can figure it out themselves, right? So sometimes I don't even have to say nothing. And I'll just sit and smile like, you just figured it out. Why couldn't you do this at home? So it kind of just depends, right? It just depends on the situation. And what I have found, honestly, is just people don't listen to each other. They don't hear. They are too busy trying to defend themselves that they're not hearing what the other person is saying. So, sometimes I don't even talk much during a session, and they end up figuring it out because they just need maybe that mediator or a space that is not their home to come out of and sort through. And that's been a task I've given people. Like sometimes if an argument is starting, and you can't make someone talk about it right now. If they're not ready, you don't want them to talk about it, because then things may be said that shouldn't be said, so let the other person have their space. Sometimes it takes me overnight to process things because I'm a processor after conversations. And go for a walk and talk about it. Go out of your house and talk about it instead of talking about it in your space where the argument may have happened at, So, so that's kind of some of the ways that I kind of deal with
it. Well, all I can say is interesting. You are dealing with so much, it's a lot. And I don't know how you're able to take it all, because you hear when one person saying one thing, the other one saying one thing, and sometimes you probably see the whole argument happening in front of you as well.
Right.
So I'm saying that that's a lot in your shoulder for you to
it is.
like taking that itself, because it's like their problems become your problems, because at this point that problem needs to be fixed, because that's the issue. And some people are just head-hearted too. So even when they know they are wrong.
Yeah. Well, I have learned as I have gotten older that I am, and I have always been, but of course, younger, I just couldn't put a word onto it, but I am a major empath, so I take on people's feelings and emotions, more so than I would like to. You hear about the people that cry watching movies all the time, or TV or if your coworker comes in and you can tell they're overwhelmed with something, so, when I started this coaching journey, I had to be intentional, where my fear was not being able to remember everything that people are saying. And my professor was like, all you're doing is exercising your brain. You're exercising your brain to learn how to remember. So you can't have any distractions. You have to just be focused, and I thought, oh my goodness. But then, during our coaching sessions, when I was in school, my peers were coming with some hard emotional stuff, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm about to cry. She ain't even crying, but I'm about to cry because I'm like, But as I've learned to practice, I've learned to try to put myself out of the situation, get out of my own head. And that lessens my emotion, but it still keeps me present because my heart is just so big. I want to take care of, support, and help everybody, and learning to truly sit and listen without thinking about my response, right? Because sometimes people don't listen. They're ready to respond as soon as you start with your first 3 words, right? So really listening to a person all the way through. And even if I have to have a moment of being quiet before I respond, being okay with the silence, which so many of us aren't okay with, you know what I'm saying? So It takes work, it takes exercise, and I do try not to allow it to weigh me down like at all, because yeah, you can wear the weight of other people on you, but
Mm-hmm.
I pray through that. I try to pray through it and mentally go in knowing that this is not my story. This is their story that they're sharing, and it doesn't take away from me being sympathetic or empathetic either.
Right. I like that. I like the way you think of it. So starting a business as a woman can be challenges. So what has been your biggest high point and also the biggest challenges as an entrepreneur?
Okay. So the biggest high point, probably here recently, just truly meeting wonderful people that are supportive of me, meeting a wonderful person who was just like, "Hey, I'll I'll do some advertising for you and I don't even have to pay
Oh,
for it." And I'm like, "What?
wow.
Like, I didn't take you to dinner." I thought that was amazing because I've been going for 2 years and I'm like, everything is money, 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 money. If you're not bringing in as much as you would like, it's money. So that has been great. My business picking up and gaining more clients and seeing their aha moments when they get it, when they're like so appreciative, when I can see that it's working. It's just a good feeling, like sometimes I have to pat myself on the back, you know what I'm saying? So I think things like that are really good. I think when I really felt good is I took my branding photo shoot. I had my photo shoot back in September, the 1st of September. And the photographer was amazing and she made me feel absolutely beautiful. And I was like, okay, now I got some things I can use to advertise. So I think those things that have just really happened in the last few months have been like high points for me. I don't think that I have low points. I think that I have um um to me there it's growth and learning, and it would just more so be like it's more so like um you have to put money in to get money out, right?
Yeah.
And okay, your account may go down to zero if you're paying for marketing, stuff and branding stuff and having to buy t-shirts and different, it may, right? But you still got money coming in, so it'll be okay. So probably just the financial piece, the money that it takes to advertise and to sell yourself, can be discouraging because I'm a single mom, and I still work a full-time job. I have a whole teenager that is busy, busy, busy. So, it takes a different type of motivation to be an entrepreneur. It can be done for sure, but you have to be intentional. You have to move with intent. And like I tell people, if people aren't making room at their table, create your own.
Exactly. But reading about you, there's one thing that's very fascinating about you is the fact that family is very important to you.
Yes.
Especially, if I remember well, you said that your daughter is it's everything to you.
Yes.
So would you say that uh, keep what you keep on pushing yourself to over the limit? Is the your daughter is that reason why?
Yeah, she is. Yeah. So I've been a single mom since I was 6 months pregnant. And, I have been on this journey with our baby, for 15 years now. And it hasn't been always easy. I have gotten 2 masters since she's been in the world. We've moved to Nashville since she's been in the world. I bought a house on my own without any support from anything by myself, right? And all of this, as much as she wants to realize it or not, is because she's a teenager. So, they're going through that weird stage, it's all about them. But everything that I've done has been for her. It's plenty of times I went without eating dinner just so she would have enough for a few days. It's been times where I have like just laid in my bed and cried and prayed because I'm like, Lord, what am I doing wrong? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, and he's telling me you're doing everything right. There's no perfect parent, there's no perfect job, there's no perfect business, but because you keep waking up every day and pushing to do and be better, you're doing everything right. Right. So she is she's my world. She really is my world. Although I don't think she appreciates it right now. Like I'm hoping it comes back around sooner or later, but she is my whole wide world. And my family, I mean, although they're not here with me, their support has been major. Their support is major for us also, for sure.
All I can tell you is, all I can tell you is that it's to giving her time. Because with me, I remember the day I gave birth to my son. I pick up the phone and my mom was at the airport, and I called my mom, said, "Thank you. And I am so sorry for everything I put you through in this world. Today, I get to understand it."
Yes. Sure.
Because I'm looking at that child in my head that, oh, wait a minute, I have to take care of that? Oh, that's mine? I need to do everything? No, not me. No. That's not me. So my life changed that day because you got to experience what your mom went through, and then now you got to go through it. And I think that my respect for my mom started. I respected my mom, but that day a lot of things changed. When she talks, I give her my entire attention. Yeah. It's like, okay, so now I understand what I made you went through. Especially as a teen, we have all these things are changing. We think we know it all. I went through it because I was a teen not too long ago. Yeah. So it's hard. I have to say it's hard on us as a teen, but it's also we don't make it any easier for the parent either. We make it very hard because we don't want to listen. Yeah. And I wish I did listen because if we listen, there's a lot of things we can do differently than we're doing it when we get older. And that's my advice I always give even to my little sister is like, please just listen to my mom, just to listen, because I wish I did. Yeah. I can't go back in time, but that's your time now, so you can listen.
For sure.
So the only thing I can say, be patient with her. I think she appreciated them. It's not her time to show them right now, but eventually she will, because me, myself, I did it at the beginning. And like I said, I started to appreciate my mom when I gave birth, because now I know what it means to like having a baby. Yeah. Oh my goodness, 9 months. The doctor told me, the doctor told you 9 months, but I'm like, I feel like that baby been in my belly for 10 months. It wasn't 9 months.
That is the truth, for sure. That is true. And, and I know that she loves me, and she told me the other day, which was really random. And she's like, Mommy, I'm proud of you. And I'm like, what? That's what I'm thinking in my head. And I was like, thank you. She's like, I'm just thinking about everything that you're doing and what you've done. Like, I'm really proud of you. And I was like, thank you, Ava. That makes me feel good. And like, I wanted to cry in that moment, but I was a big girl and I was like, thanks. But so that was random because, teenagers they think about themselves. They think about themselves.
But that doesn't mean they don't. But also the things that you are doing that I appreciate as much is, as a single mom, you continue your education. Yeah. So you didn't stop. A lot of parents as a single mom, they focus more on working to bring the bread in. They forgot about education. They forgot about themselves. But that's not what you did, because a lot of them, we stop our life so we can focus on the child, which is the biggest mistake any parent can make. Because guess what? One thing I realized with my kid, even when like 6 months old, if I'm wearing sunglasses, he wanted to wear sunglasses too. Right. If I have a key, he wanted to have a key too. Yeah. So like, you're copying everything I'm doing.
Everything they do.
So which means I need to keep bettering myself so you can do the same as well.
Yeah.
So I was happy reading that about you, that everything that you did because of your daughter. So I think it's amazing as mom, as entrepreneurs, we need to continue better ourselves for our children. Right. So that brings me to, with everything that just happened in this world with the pandemic and education itself changed. So how do you align your approach to coach educators now?
So, well, one thing that could be good and or not is the fact that we've learned that we can do a lot of things virtually that we otherwise did not think. Although I think in person, certain trainings, I will make sure that I do in person. I don't give a virtual option because we need that people interaction, hand to hand, body to body touch, right? We need that But just, I have to pivot. I have to evolve. But what I also have seen is not just educating the children and not just educating the educators, but educating the parents also. Educating them on how to not necessarily be better parents, but to bring education home, because we are their first teachers, right? Teaching them about conscious discipline, teaching them about gentle parenting, teaching them about social emotional learning. Some children have really big emotions, right? We call these kids with big emotions bad, or we call the little girls dramatic, right? They are expressing themselves. And it doesn't always have to be looked at as bad, but they're trying to tell you something in those moments of these big emotions, right? We all are guilty of calling a kid dramatic or saying a kid is bad. We're all guilty of that, but let's change the language, right? When they're in those spaces, give them time to let those emotions out. As long as they're not hurting you or themselves or their friends, just give them the space to do it. When they're ready to try to verbalize or share what's going on in that moment, allow them. So listen, so I think one of the big things, not I think, I know, is just reaching to the parents also, right? A lot of the early childcare programs that I interact with, like a group of them more than others, but they have all shared that they wanted to provide trainings for their parents. And I think that's awesome. I mean, stuff as small as creating parents' night out for them. I know that's not a training, but doing parents' night out, or parents wanting to bond with other parents and their children bond. So let's create a space for that to happen. So just really pivoting where we're not just educating the educator to educate the children, but also the parents, because, we're the adults in the kids' life, the parents and the teachers. So that's probably one of the big pivots I feel like I've made.
I like that idea, especially with COVID where the kids were at home. So really we become the educator ourselves because they were at home for over a year.
For sure. For sure. And I seen with my daughter who was in middle school when it started, like, she's a social butterfly. So she's a kid that needed to be in the school. She did. So it's almost like she was getting sad and almost depressed, it seemed like. We were kind of at odds with each other, and Christmas break came, and I'm like, you need to go spend some time with your dad and with your grandparents. We need some time. And then when it's time to go, she didn't want to go, but I'm like, we need a break, because I think you've been in this house for so long. You need something else. You need to see something else, right? So it COVID played a big toll on the children. And, even when, she started high school as a freshman, she was still in 7th grade mentally. The juniors who last time they was in school was freshmen was still acting like freshmen in high school, because life stopped for almost 2 years for these kids, and how do we as educators, as parents, and even the students, how can we help them? How can we support them? Because I mean, the schools here to me were like in shambles. Like, it was just like, what do you do? Teachers wanting to quit, teachers not feeling supported. There's a shortage of teachers majorly. Like, it was crazy. So I think not just reaching, we have to be intentional to love on our educators, to support them, to empower them, and our parents for sure.
Yes. And how do you, where do you see yourself in the next few years supporting educators to better our children? Well, you support them to help our children.
Right. I would like to really have a great flow of, I love speaking, as you probably can tell. I would love to speaking to educators in a wider setting at conferences, on campuses, at universities, giving them the tools that they need or confidence that they need to understand and know that they can, and that they're seen and that they're heard, and just to remember that it's more than a check. Because think about it. These people are going to be, these kids are going to be taking care of us. What are our doctors Gloria's going to be looking like? What are the teachers? So, I want some strong, healthy people confidently able to take care of me when I'm sick. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to think about that. So if I would like to be in a space where I'm speaking to mass majority of people all over the world, empowering them on all things education, but also having a great rotation of clients that I'm coaching and supporting by way of education and their personal life, for sure.
I think that's a great plan, and I don't see anything stopping you from doing it because you are not the type of woman anyone can stop.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, do you have any advice for women who want to get into entrepreneurship, especially single mom?
Plan your work and work your plan. If you have a vision, if you have a desire, if you have a dream, just nurture it. The same way that you teach your children or the advice that you give your peers, use it for yourself because you're capable. Yes, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because it's not. It's not. It definitely takes another wheelhouse, but you can do it. It can be done. It is possible. If you have dreams, live out loud. Live your best life. We only have one life to live. And I say live it out loud and live it at your very best. And you can do it. You can do it. Growth mindset and always moving forward.
And by any chance, if you need help with that, you can always reach out to Tevis.
Absolutely. I got you.
We got your back. Thank you so much, Tevis, for the time to have this conversation with you. I appreciate your knowledge, and then you didn't give up with everything you went through as a single mom, raising your child, and then you keep making yourself better and better. Yes, so I appreciate that you are a great role model for other women, that we don't need to stop our life just because we have children.
That's right.
Because of the children, we need to keep on moving forward and make ourselves better. And then that is the example that you are putting out there. And that's exactly what we need in this generation.
For sure. I agree 100%. I agree.